Previously on Legends of Aelos, we return to the party pondering the origins of the sounds and voices they hear coming from around the bend in the path through the forest. They're quite sure it is whatever has been digging up these corpses, but just what could it actually be? Still under the obscuring veil of Asher's spell, the party decides to stealthily approach whatever it is that has been committing these desecrations. As the party approaches, some are taken aback to see an unkempt, pale-skinned little girl with long hair that hangs flatly around her head, just enough of it off her face that she might be able to see through. They also notice what was making the long, dragging marks around the graves, as the five witness a rolling, contorting corpse going about her instructions to move and dig at various locations as she communicates with another corpse she has reanimated. Some amongst the party are apprehensive to do anything about it immediately, even after witnessing the black sclera of her eyes and confirming her necromantic powers. Perhaps reaching Lake Grasp and returning with reinforcements would be a better option. It's the child that forces the party into action, though, as they witness her come across an apparent mass grave as she floats above the ground looking for more corpses to increase the number of her army. The party stealthily fans out along an overlooking ridge, setting up to ambush this apparent creature, and though they do get into an advantageous position, the creature does take notice of Briar, or more precisely, the necromantic dagger she has resting on her hip. Fortunately, Briar is able to notice and alert the party. Though the surprise might be spoiled, at least the tables won't have turned. Rowan begins the fight by leaping down towards the corpse fairy and slashes out, no one being fooled by her now human appearance, and upon the contact of his blades, the creature retches back into its true form. Following up Rowan's initial assault, Briar calls upon chromatic energies, and to her shock and dismay, she casts out a spout of fire towards the transformed fairy. Her hand blisters slightly as the flame erupts from it, but it's not too damaging nor distracting enough for Briar to not follow up with a snap of her whip at the creature. After taking the hit and reverting to her original form, she ascends into the air with her wings. She now sees Ace, Asher, and Briar, and after she grasps Rowan with an ethereal hand, she turns her gaze and afflicts the now wolfen Asher slightly, while Briar's heritage and Ace's protection enchantment prevent the effect from taking hold upon them. She does not see Karun, however, and he unleashes a guiding bolt, illuminating the fey creature and building upon the injuries already inflicted by Rowan. He also summons a small, glowing aura, roughly spherical in shape, that aids their fighter by attacking one of the many thralls of the corpse fairy that are now descending upon him. Despite the hampering of the fairy's gaze on him, Asher is still very much driven for the fight, and seeing Rowan's plight, he jumps down to join him in the fray, pouncing upon and knocking down one of the shambling corpses. Ace attempts to jump out to grapple the hovering fairy, and with great effort, he surprisingly makes it to the creature, launching himself with enough strength to probably clear a 20-yard gap. Unfortunately, despite his efforts to make it to her, her wings prove to be equally strong, and she is able to pull free from his attempts to grapple and pull her to the ground. The escape is short-lived for the fairy creature. For moments after escaping Ace, as Rowan proceeds to chew through her minions below, Briar unleashes another gout of flame that spews forth, this time finding its way into the mouth of the creature, and finds its way out through every other orifice as it burns the fairy's body to ash from the inside. Though she is now defeated, the fight still continues, and Karun notices something truly horrifying as he turns around to decimate another corpse that had attacked him from behind. For after the guiding bolt connects and the body collapses, he sees past it, and he sees what was making the sounds of large footsteps before. An undead ogre hurriedly returning to aid its master. Karun scurries around the tree away from it, pressing up against the trunk as he informs Briar of what is plotting towards them. The fighters of the group destroy the remaining humanoid corpses, and then they proceed up the embankment to deal with the final threat. And though it may have been quite the threat were it just the two spellcasters going up against it, the ogre proves no match for the combined efforts, as collectively they slay the final creature. With combat over and the mystery of the roadside corpses resolved, the party finishes with what remains are left after combat, gathering a few token trinkets of loot, notably 2 dice, a standard size 6-sided die with a small dagger shape for the 1 pip, and a larger, metallic dodecahedron. Their business done, they get back on the road and resume their journey to Leygrasp. The remainder of the journey is fairly peaceful. They are even able to find a completely secure night of respite with a fortunate roadside hideaway they find for a camp. Just before entering the immediate area around Leygrasp, they do happen to take notice of a mounted traveler leading away from the town, riding upon a black mare and wearing a noticeably peculiar mask. Upon getting to Leygrasp, they see it is much larger than the town of Lowell, with many districts. The group approaches the town from the south, entering into the Fingers, where the lower working class resides. It's not long after entering, though, that the 5 notice the town itself is under an affliction. Some form of plague has apparently taken hold recently in the lower class district, and the party must be inspected and cleared by the town guard before they can even head into the bordering Hands district, where the Sleeping Moon resides. Upon arrival to the Sleeping Moon, Briar nudges Asher through the door first, so that he may greet his wife and Briar's cousin, Coria, the rest of the party following in behind them. They embrace each other, and soon after, there's a surprise of 2 more individuals being there, familiar to Asher, Briar, and Karun as well, as Briar's parents step out to greet them. And it is from here we shall continue the story of the Legends of Aelos.